Welcome to an episode of Opinions from Offside. Unfortunately, there is no Michael. He is in Germany, in Hamburgens. So I've roped in man like Beany. Beany, what are you saying?
You're right, Fraser.
I
Nice
am
to
good,
be back.
mate.
I must have done all right last time. It was a good episode. I know that you mentioned Ian Hart last time in the last episode that you were in.
Listen, Ian Hart's on my tongue at the minute. He's there.
Honestly, he'd have been better than both left backs from West Ham and West Ham and
Forest.
Forest. He's better than both the left backs. I'm sorry, but he'd have
Oh,
done both.
mate.
Tell me one of them Champions League.
It's all right you're saying it now when Levy's not here to defend himself. You know what I mean? But,
Champions League. Enough said.
What did he do in the Champions League?
Semi-finalist, mate.
Oh, is it? I'm pretty sure that the West Ham left back won the Europa League. So
Conference League.
it's the same thing. It's a cereal. We'll leave it at that. Anyway, what we're going to talk about, Beanie, is I want your opinion on. We're going to discuss atmospheres in stadiums. I basically went to the Leicester Palace game the other day, and it was good. That's the first Leicester game I've been to in a while, and it was quite busy. It was good. There was a singing section. It was really good banter, good crack. Even the steward was having a laugh. We had a streaker on the pitch with a flag cracking. And then when he dropped a shoulder on the steward, it was brilliant. Just left him on his arse. It was great.
I love it when a steward chases.
It's amazing.
Especially when it's somebody like my size who clearly can't run, and then they're literally on their arse and they can't get back up. It's
it was good. But Beanie, a man who travels around the UK following his mighty Leeds home and away, what are you saying? How important is atmosphere? Do you have when you go, do you purposely feel like, right, we need to create the atmosphere for the players? Do you think, I want the atmosphere because I'm here to enjoy? Or do you go to a place thinking this is an atmospheric place? What's your thoughts?
It's a bit of a weird one, really, because, I mean, Leeds is always in this sort of discussions around atmosphere and stuff like that. And this season, it's felt a little bit flat. Normally, we're pretty good in terms of atmosphere. I do think it's massive in importance, really. So, like, there's been times where Leeds have done like a late show, and I feel like if the atmosphere wasn't there, we might not have won games in over the years. So I remember under Bielsa, the atmosphere at every home game was absolutely electric. And there were times where we'd struggle through a game and it was obvious that the legs were tired and stuff, but you get that extra level of the next 10%, the extra 10%, and it came a lot from atmospheres. When we're in the Premier League, it was difficult to generate atmospheres because there were so many away grounds that you'd go to, and the atmosphere wasn't great. Like, if I'm being honest, there were certain grounds, like there's certain grounds that in my head I always look at and go, do you know what, that atmosphere was exceptional and I loved being there.
You don't need to be shy. You can name and shame. Don't worry about it. Who are you going to? Premier League wise, who are you thinking?
I've already mentioned this a few times, and I know he's not on the call, but Olympic Stadium's one of them. It's an horrible atmosphere. It's terrible. But Upton Park was exceptional. And I said this on the last podcast. I remember going to Upton Park and genuinely being a little bit fearful. And I always have the opinion that actually, if there's that little bit of needle, the atmosphere is quite good.
You do love a little needle.
I do love a little bit of needle. I love a little bit where you don't know what to expect, whereas you go to certain grounds and you know it's going to be soulless. Like, for example, Arsenal, up until this last 18 months, it were like being in a library. But obviously they've now got that little singing section, and it's almost like it's forced. But do you know what? It's quite good. The last time I went to Arsenal, the atmosphere was pretty good. I like the fact that if you go to an away game, you feel like you have to put your full version out because the other team is giving you an atmosphere. Whereas sometimes when you don't have to try, it can be a bit flat. I think both sets of fans cause the atmosphere to be good. If one away side's doing creating a real atmosphere at Ellen Road, the home fans seem to react.
Yeah,
but I also
I'll give you that for the Leicester game. There, the Leicester game we were at, I kid you not, I would not have been able to point out where the Palace fans were until they scored, and that was it. They were loud then, and I'm guessing that's what you're pointing towards with Arsenal. It's the atmosphere is there when they're being successful. They're not. Yeah. So if Arsenal was struggling, you won't get a lot.
Yeah, I've been to City as well, and admittedly, last time we played City, the home end was really loud, but they get a reputation by being quite empty seats. They call it the empty ad.
Who says that?
There's loads of people that say that off set Etihad. But credit where credit's due. But I don't know if it's necessarily potentially like we turn up, we sing quite loud. There's an expectation. They've got to do that. The best atmosphere I've been to in the last couple of years is Coventry. Believe it or
Really?
not. Yeah, 32. There were 31,000 there last year.
Where the club play now? It's not the Rico anymore, is it?
It is the back at the Rico.
The back of the Rico again, yeah.
Yeah, just. But that were when they were in the FA Cup semi-final. They were up near and thereabouts. They were winning every week.
Yeah.
I don't suspect it's going to be the same when we play them again because of mid-table. They're not playing for anything. There's nothing really there.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's been some amazing atmospheres. I mean, it's always better when there's something to play for.
Oh yeah, I can understand that. I mean, playing myself, I love when you go to like a final. You got all your mates there. There's a couple of hundred people there, and you're just there thinking, "Oh, all right, someone's getting it. I can't show myself up." Or if
No,
you're
exactly.
playing, when we've played in FA Cup prelims before, and we've gone to like an half-decent stadium. I remember playing at Hinckley United ground there. I think it's the Marston, and it's a lovely ground. There was literally 2 divots on the whole pitch. It was brilliant, but it was great because their fans were giving us loads, like loads. And every time we had the chance, like, shut up, you're inbred. You got 6 fingers, move, get out of my way. So we're saying that on the side, but honestly, I love the banter, the patter you get with players as fans, especially if it's done in the right way. Like, brilliant. When I played it in Leicester, Ellistown, Ellistown's like rivals with like Ibstock and places like that. But they're all country villages. It's basically all they have is they go to work, they spend time with family, let's go to the football. Like it's one of those miniature little village places. Yeah, and it was mate,
everybody goes to that game.
They had replica kits. When I played, it was we played Leamington Spa. They turned up in replica kits, bro. I was like, "What is that about?" That's great with their own name on the back. Come on, mate. That's bad, but atmosphere, it was brilliant. So you can imagine it on a big stage.
Extra 10%, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was so good.
I think there's a bit of a two-way streak. I think that the players that are on the pitch have got a lot to play into the atmosphere.
Yeah.
I think there's certain grounds this season that, and certain places that I've been over the last 18 months, if not last 10 years, where if the team's not doing well and Leeds are winning, it's toxic and it's great for away fans. Horrible. Yeah. It must be horrible as an home fan. But I've been there. Leeds were finishing mid-table every year for about 10 years straight in Championship. And you get to back end at season and there's naught to play for, and you're playing Reading away and you're losing 2-0, and they've got naught to play for, you've got naught to play for. You go into away games thinking you're going to get beat because the way that the team's set up, and you're watching some absolute jokers who don't deserve to be at the club, but they're there because of the circumstances that we're in. And you're thinking to yourself, why do I get up on a morning and do that? And do you know what? To be fair, some of the best away atmospheres I've had is when we've got naught to play for.
Yeah, it's not as serious. You can mingle a little bit.
There's all the people that you go with, and like there's a lot of people that you see that go every week. Like there's a guy that I started talking to a little bit more from last season to this season, who literally goes to every home and away game, but goes to every England home and away game as well.
Oh, why would you do that to yourself?
Honestly, right? He goes to he went to Euros, he's been to World Cup, honestly, and it's the same thing we say to each other. What else have we got to do on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon or a Monday or a Tuesday or whatever day it is? But they're the examples of when you're in them sort of situation, you've got naught to play for. You see the same group of people because the ones that are, it's tribal to them. That's the only thing. Whereas the problem you've got when success happens, you get your I like to call day trippers.
Yeah.
That they're only in it because you're successful. Every club has them. I don't care what anyone says. Every club in this country has success-based fans. They only pay because it's successful. Leeds, when they're in Premier League, you couldn't get a ticket for love nor money. If you were a member, as much as it's sold out every week, don't get me wrong, you could go on the morning of the game and get a ticket. It'd still be sold out by 3 o'clock, but you could log on as a member now and get a ticket. And the reason for that is simple. We charge 47 quid for home fans in certain stands. In the nicer stands, it's 47 quid a ticket. People don't want to pay 47 quid to watch Leeds play Cardiff.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But if Leeds are playing, I don't know, Liverpool or Man City or Chelsea, they pay 87 quid to watch it.
So So with that, then, so what do you think? Do you think like? I mean, I heard another podcast I was listening to the other day. They were talking about when they took the prices up in the Premiership. A couple of teams, Liverpool, it was talking about. They sort of took away the cop part of it for the day tickets. So people that want to come, but then the reason why people want to go to like Anfield, for example, for the atmosphere. I mean, the thing is when they're singing "You Never Walk Alone," it gives you goosebumps. It's just a
Yeah,
thing, but they're sort of taking that away by giving it to people, charging them more, a couple of £100 or whatnot for day trippers, like you call them day trippers, but you're losing the actual fans, the Scousers, the people that have supported Liverpool the majority of their life, and the ones that know about Liverpool and love the atmosphere and love that band. So you're losing them for that. So would you say that's sort of the way it's going, especially with the ticket prices in regards to when they get into
it's.
the big league, that all teams have to do it, or is it one of those where is it just greedy owners?
I think there's a combination of the two. To be honest with you, I think the current way the football's going, very much a money making scheme. But clubs are losing so much money that even being in the Champions League now doesn't dictate that you can reduce prices. Look at Villa
Yeah,
charging £91 a ticket for a
bad.
Champions League game. Don't get me wrong. If you told me here's £91, we're going to beat Bayern Munich, you'd take it all day. If somebody said to me Leeds are going to play Bayern Munich tomorrow and win 1-0, I'd pay £91 for the privilege. But
Well, let's be real. What do you think the real score would be?
um,
1-0?
no, I'd back our defenders to stop Harry Kane. It's just the rest of them that's a problem.
Depends if you had Ian Hart on the left. That'd be it. Game over.
Game over, 1-0 Leeds. I need Scott penalty.
Free kick.
Free kick or a penalty. But no, I think the problem is these clubs have these scenarios. Like Man City have so many tickets that are £300 or whatever, but that is literally maybe less than 5% of the stadium.
Yeah.
I think it's not a working man's game anymore. I think I've seen my ticket, for example, go up. And I know it's not a lot, but it's gone up 20% in the last 2 years. And it's only going to go up next year. If we get in Premier League,
Yeah.
I'd expect it to be the highest I've ever paid. And it's not a working man's game anymore. I think the German model is the best model for me. Like
Yeah.
I think it was, I don't know if it's Bayern Munich's chief executive or Borussia Dortmund's chief executive that once said, we will charge fans more money because if we're paying our commercial directors and our marketing directors enough money and they are doing their jobs properly, they should be able to make enough money for this club so that we don't have to charge the fans anymore.
Yeah. The
And
German model's lovely. I love that. And all the way, your away ticket includes your transport as well to the away game, which is brilliant. So I love that. I've got a lot of time for that.
So
they're actually on the list. So I've got a list for you, Beana. Got a list of
funny how we've
teams.
rolled into that by
I
accident.
know, yeah, we rolled into that perfectly, Beana. It's like you do. It's like we've spoke about this before.
Well,
Big shout out to.
We never talked about German football.
Yeah, no, yeah. Big shout out to
is
Michael anyway. Michael is away in Hamburg doing some events, and he will be back very soon. I'm sure he'll be
he
eager.
needs to go to the Reaper Barn.
The Reaper Bar.
Reaper Barn. It's like Amsterdam's red light district, but with loads of bars and stuff.
I was going to say, I'll tell his wife that, shall I? Yeah.
No. I went to Hamburg. I went to watch Hamburg versus Fulham in the Europa League semi-final a fair few years ago with my best mate, and it's just wall-to-wall Irish bars.
Is it? Oh, he'll love that.
If you go into the wrong places, it's a bit dodgy.
We'll save that for another podcast.
That's not worth that yet. We won't talk about it.
We'll wait that until we have to charge subscriptions. Sabina, I've got 11 stadiums which have ranked best atmosphere by Chat AI, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the first few, and then I'll get to the point where I'll give you a clue to see what you're thinking. So, 11th, you've got Eintracht Frankfurt's Deutsche Bank Park, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know if you've ever been to these. I don't know if you've ever been to the Marshal Joseph Polutski Stadium in Poland.
Is that Poznan?
It's Legia Warsaw, actually.
Legia Warsaw.
Close.
Wow.
You'll know this one, surely. The Diego Armando Maradona Stadium.
It's Napoli, that, isn't it?
That's Napoli. That's ranked number 9 apparently for atmosphere.
9th?
Maybe that's because the away. I don't know if the away fans are allowed to travel anywhere. I was sure in Italy, the Napoli fans were banned from going to away games, but they could go to European away games because of all the trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go to a a major game in Italy. I'd stick out like a sore thumb. I'd go to like a random game like Lecce versus Napoli, but I wouldn't go to like Lazio versus Roma. Stick
Fire.
out like a sore thumb. Inglaterra, bang.
Inglaterra, bang, get it up you.
Yeah, knocked straight out.
Well, we've got 8th is a Turkish team. We don't like to talk about them, Bina. We don't like to talk about them.
I know it is, and I'm not talking about it.
We'll move on. We'll move on. Anyone who's doesn't know what we're talking about, you need to watch the other episode with man like Beany doing his 1 to 11.
I think the atmosphere in that ground is more born out of hatred rather than it actually being a good atmosphere. Scary.
I can agree with what you said. Yeah. So then we've got one in Cairo, the Cairo International Stadium, which is Al Ali and Zamalek Stadium. I don't know if you've ever been. Yeah,
I've never been to that one. No.
And now we're into the top 6. So the top 6, I could agree with this one. I've never been, but I've seen the game. So we've got River Plate.
Oh wow! Yeah.
It's called the Estadio Monumental. It's called
Monumental. Yeah. So the other team, it's the
you're on about Boca, aren't you?
Their main rivals, Boca, which is like 106. Called the Bombonera or something like that.
It is the Bombonera, and that is actually ranked number 1 for atmosphere. Being a good shout.
Honestly, it's incredible. Like when you see it, it just looks like people on steroids.
Really?
Honestly, it's ridiculous. Like it's. I mean, I've always wanted to go. It's a Leeds thing, and I keep mentioning Bielsa, but since Bielsa joined Leeds, I've always wanted to go watch Newell's Old Boys in Argentina.
Yeah.
If I could go and not have to worry about my wife carrying on with my bank balance, I'd go tomorrow. But I'm not going to.
Leave it to me if you want. Leave your card with me, Bina. I'll look after it for you.
Juicy's incoming.
Oh, Juicy's all day, bro. Juicy's all day. And then I'll skip 5 because 5 is the first and only English team on this list. 4th is the San Siro.
Yeah.
3rd is Dortmund's.
Dortmund would have been on my list if it was picking it, because it just that yellow wall. I think when we talked about the COP, it'd be like restricting people going into the yellow wall. People want an atmosphere in yellow wall. Tottenham tried to replicate it; they can't replicate it.
What they're going to miss? Come on, we know they're going to miss. Come on.
100%.
Well, then we've got the only other British team. So there's an English team and a British team on there. So what are you thinking, Bina, for the English and the British team?
But one of them's got to be one that's Scottish too, hasn't it?
So who are you thinking? Are you thinking Ibrox or Celtic Park?
Ibrox has got a better atmosphere for me. But I think
I'm sure Tommy Muldoon will love that. Tommy.
Yeah, I do think Rangers is probably the more vocal of the two. From when I've seen atmospheres, Rangers always seems a bit more. But I think Celtic will be the one that's listed.
It is Celtic listed, right? And then the 5th is the only English team is classed as the top 11 for atmosphere by Chat AI.
I mean, it won't be the one that I'd pick, but I don't think it'll be somebody in Premier League. It better not be them fuckers.
They are in the Premier League.
It better not be them over in Pennines. It's an absolute dump and it's falling apart. It can't be them.
It's not them. It's not them.
Anfield, isn't it?
It is Anfield. Anfield's the one. Yeah, Anfield's the one. Like, to be fair though, I think Anfield carries a lot of the atmosphere in regards to the reputation. I mean, when you go there and you sort of link it a little bit to like the comebacks. I mean, you got the Liverpool, Barcelona. I mean, that one, like, outrageous. But then you got Origi, player, Gini Wijnaldum.
Honestly, the best person in that entire thing was the ball boy.
Oh, mate, guy's a G. Guy's a G. But then you've also got looking at things in regards to that. I mean, Anfield, like, if you look at Anfield, one of the few pitches where you're quite close to the stadium now because they're all putting you further away. I mean, Stamford Bridge is another one where you got that. But look at Arsenal's, you're not as close. Like, I mean, I've been to the Emirates to watch a game, and you're not. I like to be close to the pitch. I like the feeling of maybe like if something's going on, the ball could whack me in the face. Like, hey, Montella. Like
the thing is with that top 11, it's obvious. And to be fair, the majority of them are probably fair. Like, let's be really honest. In terms of atmospheres, they're the ones that get talked about the most.
Yeah,
I don't think we give a real hat off to those little shitholes as much as I call them shitholes, but they're awesome. I love a little ground that's 10,000 seater, that's full atmosphere all day, and they're baying for blood from minute one. And every time a player takes a throw in, they're giving them grief.
Yeah. Oh, mate.
There's no better than that. Like, Anfield's it's the one they've done a lot of work on it. Obviously, they've built it bigger. It feels like it's the only ground that they've built up where they've tried to keep the atmosphere where it is.
Yeah,
Whereas
I
Old
can agree with
Trafford
that.
is
Yeah.
built up and it's just awful. Like, I'm so glad they didn't pick them because it's one of the worst atmospheres I've ever been to.
Really,
Unless
yeah.
you've got 9,000 Leeds fans watching them beat them in an FA Cup game and the 2 leagues below. But we won't get into that. But
We don't talk about that until unless we have to.
The Liverpool one's probably fair. Like, I've been a few times to Liverpool, and there's only once I've been a little bit disappointed, and it was straight after the sang "You'll Never Walk Alone." I was like, "Get in, this is awesome." I think, and then after that, it was a Carabao Cup game. It was probably what you call day trippers. 90% of a lot of the people will have been fans that maybe couldn't get a ticket to a game for a league game.
Yeah.
Season ticket holders might have given the ticket up, and the atmosphere was a bit flat. But when we played them in the Premier League, and we played them three times. I think one was it. First time was COVID. There was no fans there, but the atmosphere still felt good, even though it was COVID. But I think that's pumped in atmosphere, and that finished 4-3. We got beat 6-0 at Anfield when we stayed up and we got battered. We should have been 1-0 up and we got beat 6-0. And then the season we got relegated, we beat you 2-1.
So, essence of the story is, if you get promoted, let Liverpool smash fuck out of you and you'll stay up. Basically, what you're saying.
That's not the essence of the story.
It sounds like the essence of the story.
No, but the atmosphere was incredible for that game because it was a night game. We took the lead.
Love a night game.
We won it, but it's always a good atmosphere when you win a game. It's never going to be as good if you don't. But I think sometimes the bigger grounds don't always generate big atmospheres.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Tottenham's a bit of a fake atmosphere. West Ham's poor. One of the better atmospheres that I've been to over the years. Weirdly, we played Hull the other week. They were really good as a crowd.
Fucking rivals, isn't it?
The
city of culture.
I don't admit it. Humberside.
Yeah. Oh, we call it Hull. Well, that leads on to the point I was going to ask you, Beany. So you touched on it about the COVID, and that's what I was going to relate to. So remember, we all buzzing to watch the football again with COVID, and it was like a glorified training session. But I feel like the players picked up on that as well. Without the fans, 100%. The intensity just wasn't there. So it sort of springs around to why I wanted to have this conversation with you. Should clubs be more caring and more involved with their fans for the atmosphere? Because not only I know they understand it. I mean, like Levy said it once, that you weren't seen as a fan at West Ham; you're seen as a customer, and I think that was disgusting. I don't like that, but is that the way we're going with all the American owners who are putting money in? I mean, the talk of Elon Musk buying Liverpool. I know the guy don't need the money, and I don't want him to just lose inch. I don't want that.
It'd just be a play toy. It's not for the sake of football. We've got American owners, but they're owners of they own San Francisco 49ers, and that club's it's a massive stadium, but it's one of the NFL. Like, I don't want to go into NFL because of all that sort of stuff, but it's one of the ones where the fans are taken care of and they do listen.
Yeah,
and as long as things go in the direction they're going, I think Leeds fans will be looked after, but you can't guarantee it. Look at Fulham. Fulham's a prime example. Now, I've got friends that support Fulham, and Fulham as a football club, that away end at Craven Cottage is exceptional. There's pubs all over the shop. It's a great away day. Slap bang in centre of London, not far from central London. Nice little ground by river. Proper football stadium.
Yeah.
They've built that riverside stand, and the average ticket price is 140 quid. And it's the season tickets next season at the top end are going to be £3,000 a year, and for kids it's something like £2,500. And then in the corner they're building an hotel. I don't know if it's even being built at the moment. It's like a spa hotel where you can get they can do like hospitality and stuff. But that full stand has been built with hospitality in mind. It's not been built with bringing more fans into play. It's been built with hospitality in mind because it's got an American owner whose sole focus is wrestling because he owns like TNA or TNW or whatever it is.
Don't be dissing wrestling.
Pardon?
Don't you be dissing wrestling.
No, I love wrestling.
I'll be John Cena in your ass.
But he's a wrong one, by the way. I don't know if it's that TNT or whatever it is. It's the other non-W.
Is it Khan?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's AEW. I think it is.
Yeah, so he's an absolute muppet, and he like my mate has got 2 kids, and well, he's got 3, but he's got 2.
Not by him.
No.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
But there's 3. He's got 3 kids, and he's got a missus, and they all want to go watch Fulham. They're all big Fulham fans, but they're getting every single year. It's pricing them more and more out of going. And how are you supposed to generate an entire fan base of young fans building themselves up if you price them out of football? Because I've got friends of mine who, for example, they've got kids who are at a young age. My daughter's 8-year-old, and all of them want to go watch Leeds.
Yeah.
They got their dad to say, I want to watch Leeds, and they find out it's 40 quid a ticket. For an adult and a kid now at Leeds, you're talking best part of £70 for one adult, one child. That's championship football, by the way. But that is because other teams charge that. That's where we charge probably one of the lowest away fans. We charge 30 quid like the Premier League does.
Yeah.
I charged 45 quid to go watch Leeds away at Sheff Wednesday early on its season. Like,
it's crazy.
It's not for the fans. It's to try and milk what you can.
Yeah. Well,
and that's where it's going.
Yeah, I think you're right with that, and hopefully it changes, because I understand that clubs need to make money and you want to be entertained and stuff. But what's the point when you know what? Why am I going to go to the ground and be involved in that atmosphere and be a loyal fan and do all this when, you know what? I'll go to the local. I'll go to a Leeds pub. I'll go to. I mean, I don't know if you ever went. Did you go to the Leeds pub in Tenerife?
There's one it's called Palm Sports Bar.
Palm Sports Bar. Yeah. That's actually Leeds, and it's also Leeds and the Independiente, an Argentinian bar. Yeah. So that's what I mean. So what if for the sake of that? So say you want to go to watch Leeds. It's say you and two of you, 2 people go to watch Leeds. How much is that?
So, I mean, I calculated it over a season. So, I think my tickets, it's shy of 1,400 quid for the season.
So yeah. I'm about. So I go up there. Go, Beany, I want to come to a game. How much is a game for me?
Probably 47 quid.
47 quid. Then I've got to get to Leeds.
Yeah, so you're talking 50 quid minimum to get to Leeds and rest.
Then I've got to get a hotel.
Probably talking another 70 to £100 depending on where you go.
And then I'm gonna have a beer while I'm there and eat.
You could go to Tenerife cheaper.
I can go to Tenerife and go and spend the atmosphere in the sun at a game, watch the game on a big TV, and enjoy 3 or 4 days away.
Yeah.
In a Leeds specific bar with Leeds fans and enjoying it, rather than and have the atmosphere in there, rather than go there. And I think clubs here are missing the point of this.
They are missing the point, 100%.
I personally think what they should do, they should have a section which is specifically for people that live in that postcode. So the ones you can have it there, like you have the cop, sort of like that, and have that is your cop. So this is for Leeds people. If you want to come and visit, that's fine, no problem. We're not saying you're not a Leeds fan, but to be in this section, you have to have this sort of atmosphere. You need to be up for singing, like when you have singing sections. If you're not singing, you know what? Give your ticket to someone else, go over there. Like, and not in a bullying sort of way, but let's have an atmosphere. And then before you know it, the small section becomes bigger. Oh, I can't get that section, but I'll just say it at the end. I'll join in, and then the next section gets it, and then the next section gets it. Now everyone wants to do it, and just keep those prices for people there based on the area. I mean, the Fulham one, I can understand a little bit because Fulham is more expensive. But if you're a Fulham fan and you can prove I grew up in that area, come on, help out.
I think there's an element of maybe just being a little bit tactful with it, like you say.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to necessarily be postcode, but I get what you're saying. It's got you got to reach people who you know are your ardent fans. Like Leeds, it's a bit of a split. So the cop is a lot of we have a cop, and it's like the similar sort of. It's a lot of people who've been there for years. They've renewed every year, but the South Stand's a bit of a rocking atmosphere now because it's full of younger generation that want to sing, and that's fine. But more goals are scored at the cop end because it almost has that magic about it. When it gets going in the afternoon, it really gets going, and you can't replicate that in the Leeds in Ellen Road. It's a bit
you
like
draw the ball towards the end of that. Come on, back it,
come on. It's a sentence that people use all the time.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you're going to see more and more lost in translation simply because people are getting priced out.
Yeah.
And I think there's got to be something to protect that, because the most famous atmospheres in British football or English football are Liverpool. You're talking, I think Leeds up there, Newcastle, Sunderland, Villa.
Yeah.
Groups of fans that are, to them, it's tribal. To them, it's you support one team in this city. I know in Liverpool there's two teams, but we don't talk about the People's Club. They're not the People's Club.
Don't listen. I don't mind Tranmere. We'll leave them out of this. Come on. Well, Beany, I've got a question for you. You know how you do the Build-A-Bear? I want you to build your stadium, your ultimate stadium, from all your travels, right?
Yeah.
Right. Let's start. Pattern on the pitch. What are you having? Are you having the squares or are you having the lines?
Squares.
Squares. On the goals, are you having white nets or black nets?
White all day.
Corner flags, are they white or black?
Blue and yellow.
Blue and yellow. I knew you were going to say that.
Maybe a tinge of white. If you put a Leeds badge on there, it'd be unbelievable.
Are you having the first set of stadium, the first set of seats on basically pretty much on the pitch, or are you having a bit of a dig out on the pitch?
No, there's no dig out. You've got to. The ball's been thrown into a stand. I want the ability for a fan to be able to throw that ball back into the stand and hit him with force.
Now we're getting serious now, Beany. There's the bit where are you having a circular stadium or are you having a square stadium, like a rectangle? What are you having?
I like 4 stands, but with corners. So it's not necessarily circular, not like a ball, but they've filled the corners in. So it's like 4 straight stands, but they've filled the corners in. I'm trying to go. You know where I'm going.
I don't know if this is going to be done with an architect, but I like your style. I get what you're saying. So like a bang, like a bank.
One big stand to the left of the main stand would be amazing. Almost 17 or 18,000 specifically, with certain letters on it.
All right, but are you having hospitality or not?
If it allows for fans to have, if it allows to bring in enough money to be able to give the fans who are not hospitality a cheaper ride, 100%.
Yeah.
If it's going to just be relative, both sides, I think your hospitality should drive your prices down. I think all the sponsors and hospitality should drive prices down. If 10% of the hospitality can save 90% of the fan base money, I'm in.
Yeah, I get that.
So if it was a model where the 10% would save 90%, I'm in. If it isn't, fuck them.
Get it up, you.
Exactly. Go sit and stand with normal people.
Question for you. This is a good one. Are you having a standing area or not?
Yes, 100%.
You'd have a standing area?
Love a standing area. 1,000,000%. Like, Chelsea's probably one of the funniest away days I've ever been to because it's all standing. And we played them in the FA Cup last season and we gave them a right scare. They ended up having to bring £300 million of midfielders on in the second half. And we had half a team.
I don't remember that game.
We had half a team missing. Not worth 200, mate. Just on your own.
My bad.
Yeah, sorry. I did. You were too expensive.
To be fair, that means Levy's 100 million. Just saying what you've said there, Beany.
Good.
Move on.
Yeah. But we had like 6,000 fans there and it were all safe standing.
Yeah.
And it went wild. I think there's a clip if people want to search it. The fan fell into the bottom tier because he was celebrating that much. He slipped, fell down. He's all right, I think.
That means I can laugh. That's fine.
You can if you want. Like it happens. It happens. But I think proper standing is the way forward.
Yeah. So far you've got the squares on the pitch.
Yeah.
White nets, blue and white corner flags. Basically, the stadium seats are pretty much on the pitch. So you've got like a 2 or 3 yard step up from the actual touch line. You've got in the corners. You've got a bank on a bank. Hospitality is there to reduce the ticket prices. The question is, what sort of capacity do you want? 50,000. Yeah. Okay. 50,000. Final question for you: roof on or roof off?
I mean, it's British. You'd have to have a roof, wouldn't you? Because otherwise you'd be fucked. Depends where it is. If it's Tenerife, you don't need a roof.
Really?
I'd have a roof. I would have a roof, but yeah.
I'm more purely for atmosphere. Roof on
For
and roof off.
acoustics, roof, yeah. But it has to be a proper roof where it's
Yeah, because I bet you the sound would just
sound would be
bounce around. It sound like
like,
you could probably make it rock.
I don't want to blow the trumpet of the team I support, but when Ellen Road is rocking, there aren't many grounds in this country that can compete. I say there's a couple, there might be some, but there's not many. And I challenge many to when it's on it. But honestly, right, sometimes air on back of your head, or air stands on back of your neck. It's unreal.
Whoa! There's no need for that, Beany. There's no need for that. It's a dig. It's a dig. Unnecessary dig at that.
No, on the neck. Have you not got hair on back of your neck, or just do you wax?
No, that comes off as well. It comes off.
Fair. But yeah, it's just it can be absolutely mesmerising when it's really rocking. Something like when you've got something to play for and there's that emotion as well. Like when Leeds stayed up at Premier League against Brentford, I was bawling my eyes out, and I don't even know why I was bawling my eyes out because I wasn't even intending to cry. I've looked to the right at me and I've looked to the left of me, and there's a bloke, and I see him now all the time. And I'm looking at him and he's crying, and I'm looking at him and I'm crying. I'm thinking, what the fuck are we doing?
Grow up.
But then actually, there's about 90% of the away end like proper in bits, like because it means something. And when the atmosphere's on it, we were on edge for 90 minutes, but we were singing every single minute of the game. Then Rafinha, before he left for Barcelona, by the way, possibly one of the informed players in the world at the moment.
He's flying, bro. He is absolutely flying.
Bielsa, mate. Bielsa, £17 million we paid for that bloke from Rennes.
He is absolutely flying at the minute.
Nutmeg a mermaid. I still can't get over the clip where he absolutely tears. He gets this ball against Gary Cahill during COVID, and he does his flick, nutmegs him, and Gary Cahill's still looking down at the ground because he's done it. And he won me a hell of a lot of money during COVID because he used to score all the time. He was just like the season we got to watch him. It was an absolute pleasure. But he went away end after game when we stayed.
I seen that. Yeah,
climbed into away and started singing with flag.
Yeah, got a lot of time for people like that.
When the players are on it, and when the fans are on it, and when everything comes together, it's awesome. There's not worse than when players come over to fans and you've just been absolutely trounced 5-0.
And you're like, fuck off,
mate. Like, it's happened loads of time over years. Like Leeds, like we've done it over years. Like when we got relegated from Premier League under Jesse Marsh and Sam Allardyce and Javi Gracia, we played Bournemouth away and got beat 4-0. And it was toxic. The away end was toxic. The atmosphere was toxic. And they're coming over to us, and there's a handful of people coming over to us like, fuck off if you're not going to fucking turn up.
Either do it because you're bothered or fuck off. Get out of my fucking face.
Do you know what my biggest bugbear with footballers now is? And it's the biggest bugbear I've got is when they go like that to fans.
Yeah, mate, I tell you what, don't do that. Give me something to cheer about. You're getting paid. You're at work. You're at work.
You're earning great living.
Could you imagine going into like, I don't know, the DVLA office and just going, come on.
What are you doing? We've got a striker that plays for us, and do you know what? He's got a lot of potential, and I'm not going to dig into him, but I'm going to have a little bit of a dig in. He's a Spain under-21 international. He's got all the potential in the world, right? But he's not having a good time of it at the moment, right? And he missed a sitter a couple of weeks ago, and then got a corner and went like that to fans. I'm thinking, mate, we wouldn't be needed to get us G up if you'd finished that fucking one-on-one.
Don't give it the big one like you missed that because we weren't cheering you. Get the fuck out of here with that.
Honestly,
there's a way to do it, but I think stuff like that. I think people do it just because it's a token gesture sometimes. Like
it feels like it. Like I watched that game against Southampton yesterday with them. I won't talk about it. They were the luckiest team in the world. They've been carried by a young kid. Let's get into it. Without that young kid in the form of his life, they were getting beat by the worst team in the league, country mile, right? And he's giving it to their fans. There's 75,000 of them. If they can't get themselves up for it, that's not on you to do something about it.
Well, I'm going to say this one for another episode because I want to speak about the Amarin thing. I think that nothing's changed at United. This is exactly how they played under Ten Hag. They turn up for big games.
100%.
But I don't blame Amarin, and I didn't blame. Well, I did blame Ten Hag because he signed the players, but it was more to me. you've put a system in to defend against a team bottom of the league. You're playing 3 at the back against the bottom of the league. Come on.
You're playing the Dutch Harry Maguire.
De Ligt
is worse than Harry Maguire.
This will be something we'll cover off in another episode because I do want to talk about it. But just to clip links, to me, I look at players like there's a reason why clubs get rid of you. 100%. Ajax didn't want to sell you, and you had the choice to go to Barcelona or Juventus. You chose Juventus. Juventus is a team which is organised in defence. They'd won title after title, and they got rid of you. Bayern Munich bought you. Yeah, and then you went to Bayern Munich where you don't have to defend, and they got rid of you. That's, talking about football, to me, that's scary.
Juventus is terrible.
Is it?
I went to Juventus versus Fulham in Europa League. Bearing in mind, they weren't playing in the proper stadium, to fair with the Olympic Stadium that Torino playing. And it's a 50, 60,000 seat stadium. I reckon there was about 22,000 there, and at least 3,000 were Fulham. It was horrible. Like, Hamburg's pretty good. Hamburg's atmosphere is pretty good.
Hamburger.
Yeah, it shows your true colours when you're in a struggle, and the people who turn up every week, and I've got a lot of respect for these clubs that are bang average every week and their fans turn up every week. Plymouth, their home atmosphere is pretty incredible. Considering they're one of the worst teams in the league, that was one of the best away days last season for Leeds. We won both times, don't get me wrong. We played there in FA Cup replay and we played there in league and we beat them both times, but they didn't stop singing. Even when they were getting absolutely shafted by that Shrek-looking mother. They got shafted by him. Let's be really honest.
Shocking.
Honestly, how does he get jobs?
Reputation. Same as Frank Lampard.
He absolutely ruined Birmingham. He didn't have a great day.
When they took over at Birmingham, I think John Eustace was in charge. They were sick with no budget.
Got relegated.
And they got relegated because they brought in Rooney.
Yep.
And I spoke to a Birmingham fan, man like Stuart Marlowe from T2K, and he was like, what is going on? He was gutted, but, shit happens. But, what can we do, Beany? What can we do?
Yeah.
I have one more part for you, Beany. One more part for you.
No problem.
An unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
American football atmosphere is better than English football atmosphere. Talk to me. Tell me I'm wrong. You know where I've come this from? This has come from...
Fight and win!
Listen, this has come from a friend of mine, right? He's American, and he was saying college games, they get 100,000 people there. The atmosphere is incredible. They're all there.
In American football?
American football. He said to me, American football...
as we see it, as in the shit.
Yes, American football. Not MLS, as in NFL. NFL atmospheres are better. Well, he didn't even say NFL. The American football atmospheres are better than English football atmospheres. Talk to me, Beany. That's his opinion.
I'm not having that.
Tell me why. I'll tell you why he said it was. He says it was because... Right, you go first. Give me 30 seconds, Beany.
Look, to some extent, there's a lot of stuff in American football where in college football, it's a lot of... They get 100,000 fans. But college programs spend millions of pounds on these things. You can't tell me that somebody local goes to watch their local American football team and would travel the entire world to go watch their team. It doesn't happen. But there's something tribal about an English football team fan. Something tribal about it. It doesn't happen in American football, in Americans. And the fucking fans and the songs that they sing are shit, by the way. Fight and win! Let's go, Seattle!
Straight to the point. Let's go, Steelers. Let's go.
Let's go, Seattle. I believe that we will win. Instead of fuck off Adam Johnson.
He's going down. Well, right. So you're saying, right? Let me give you his mindset, and I'll back him. And anyone who comments, you can tell us what you think. So he's basically said the reason why American football is better than English football is because it's more of a day out. It's a 4-hour, 3.5 hour thing. It's a big day. You make the effort of it. There's barbecues in the car park. You don't need to go and buy food. You can actually set up your own barbecue in there. People from the town do actually travel. They don't travel the world, but they travel America. American football is not played outside of anywhere really. It's a not a sport anywhere else. It's a hobby, right? So they travel all over America. It's their native thing. The other reason why they can drink at games. The atmosphere is great. They all mingle. It's not like us. We're segregated. We're trusted to be friendly. You do get a little bit of, as you say, needle, but it's more friendly needle, and it is a family thing. The whole family will go. They'll bring the kids, and it'll be that sort of thing. There'll be sections for it. There'll be drinking areas. There'll be places where you don't drink. There'll be family areas. That's what his method of thinking is. I mean, but when you look at that, I get where he's coming from.
Yeah, so do I. I think there's scope to it. I just think
it's wrong.
Wrong. Yeah. Look, there's got to be a rivalry somewhere. And when it's too friendly, you don't like. If it's all friendly, are you really that angry when you lose?
Well, I look at it as if you're all friendly, are you really a fucking fan?
There's no promotion and relegation in American sports, right?
Yeah.
How you're not? It don't matter if you lose. It should fucking matter if you lose.
Just a pre-warning.
The only thing that you lose by being bottom is you get first draft pick.
Pre-warning for that, Beany. There's now, I think it's 14 American owners in the Premiership. That is now a majority. Yeah. You watch them try and stop relegation.
They might do, but they're not gonna, because I'll tell you something. I'll lock myself in Westminster, me, man. Happening. Oh, the thing is,
you heard it here first.
It's not gonna happen. Right? But the thing is, there's this thing in American sports, and I get it. Look, they do everything in America is heightened by times 10, right? It's like being on steroids. When you see these like halftime shows, it's all American. But I'll tell you something, it's also very expensive to watch American sports because the ticket prices, and having spoken to somebody that you know that is in America, it's based on demand rather than a set ticket price. So if you go to a big game, you're going to pay $500-$600 for a ticket.
They use dynamic pricing.
So
get ready for that to come into England soon as well.
That'll come to England as well. But when it does come, I'll moan about that as well. But when we get into like promotion relegation stuff, the reward for finishing bottom of a league in America, whether that be NFL, whether you get the first draft pick. How is that even a thing? Be like saying, well done, Southampton. You've just been relegated, but you can have your choice of any good footballer in the young footballer in the country. You're being rewarded for being shit.
Well,
yeah,
that's the new sign for Devil's Avocado.
Devil's Avocado.
Is that not the same as parachute payments when they get relegated? Oh, I'm done. So on that note, as I've gobsmacked him, I'm going to leave it at that. Beany, we're going to get you on again. I want to do a segment with you. I want it to be called Beany's Bean, and I want you to find something that is needling you and bothering you, and bring it to me and Mike, and me and Mike will just go, listen, I agree with Beany, or Beany's Beany. Beany's Bean. I'm gonna get picture posted up Beany's Bean. But that will be it for today, Beany. We're gonna call it there. A good episode, a good chat and atmosphere. What do you guys think? What atmospheres have you been where you think, right, this is the place to be? Or do you agree with my American friend that American football atmosphere is better than English football atmosphere? That's crazy. But we'll be on again. Michael is in Hamburg. Don't forget, like, subscribe, comment down below. If you want to see more of a man like Beany, let us know. Until then, next time then, Beany, on Opinions from Offside, we'll see you later.
See you later.